love and wisdom. But new church scientists must do good science, and they must do science the way everyone else does science, following the scientific method. And that credibility as scientists will increase our credibility in the context of our religion as well. Because the, excuse me, the ID movement has no credibility around the world. The only place that it exists is in this country. And this is why and how we teach science at Bryn Athyn College and New Church. And this is just a couple of my students having fun. And that's the end of my talk. Thank you. And you have a question?
Yeah, I'm sorry, what is the intelligent design?
The intelligent design movement is a group that tries to use scientific terminology to forward creationism and to debunk evolution. And they're the ones that bring the court cases saying we should be able to teach creationism in the science classroom in your school, and we should be able to put a sticker on your science book and say this is not necessarily true. Yes, Mike?
The material I've seen on intelligent design doesn't do that. At least it doesn't seem to do that.
Well, what have you seen?
Well, I can't remember the titles of. I've seen a couple of videos and read a little bit about it. Not in depth, but my understanding is that they disavow the type of creationism that the fundamentalist preachers teach.
Well,
they're not interested in that.
They do agree that there are fossils, and they do agree that the Earth and the human race is probably older than 6,000 years or 10,000 years. But they don't do science. And they are creationists under a bigger umbrella of creationism.
Not 7 days, in other words. When you say creationism, I think of 7 days. You know, the Lord created everything and rested on the seventh day. When you say creationism, that's what I hear. So intelligent designers, I agree with Mike. I've read a lot of stuff. I've never seen it as couched in creationism as the biblical version.
Well, it used to be.
Yeah.
And they have retooled it and tried to make it sound more scientific and tried to soften the edges a little bit so that they can move their movement forward.
The agenda
Becca.
being to get things out of.
Do you have examples of intelligent design studies or experiments or?
Yeah, one of the things that they claim is that there's no way you can evolve something like the eye, the organ of the eye, for example. That it's just too perfect. It works too well to be something that could have evolved over time. And
So they're trying to make a case for it.
They use the expression irreducible complexity.
right, irreducible complexity. But good science has blown that out of the water. Lincoln.
Yeah, the same point Dr. Danson at the college calls it the God of the gaps kind of a philosophy, because it is more of a philosophy than a science. It says there are some things that just couldn't be explained without divine intervention. Therefore, we proved the existence of God scientifically. And I think as new church people, we don't think that that should be possible because God would never take away our freedom in that way. So there are no gaps where there's something just totally inexplicable, where the way it looked like people in the Israelite era, of course, they didn't understand a whole lot about how the natural world went. So there were lots of gaps, and that
It was all a mystery.
was more like that. But it's very in keeping with there being no more miracles that you wouldn't find a gap that proves God.
I think one of the most interesting things about Swedenborg being a scientist
is that what's unique about Swedenborgian revelation is the idea that it is entirely process. Everything else in Christian doctrine then and now is the idea that it's a mystery. You can't understand these things. And what he describes is how it's entirely a process. Our spiritual development is a process, just as you were describing, developing from one cell to the process of thinking, that no one can be miraculously saved. It's a matter of faith and free choice, how it all works out. And to me, it's a perfect mirror of what you're talking about with scientific theory. It applies scientific theory to the spiritual realm. I think that's why science is valid in the natural world, is because it mirrors what we have to go through in the spiritual process. And so, of course, that will be what the natural world would look like.
And the more I learn in science, the more I see that.
Yeah.
Just single cell processes like respiration occurs in a very stepwise, slow process in the cell membrane. And the energy is passed slowly, slowly down to create what we need for life. Whereas it could happen all at once, but we would spontaneously combust.
Yeah.
And it's the same with regeneration. It has to happen so slowly and carefully that we hardly realize it's happening. And then suddenly, we realize, in hindsight. Yeah. Yes.
A little different tack. We're all impressed with a strong science program at the Academy College, and my question is, how do you see it evolving in the future? Long term, it would be nice to have people take a 4-year program in the sciences. What would it take in the way of faculty and department expansion and so on? How do you see the future long range?
Well, we have a 4-year program in the sciences. And we have students who have come and done their 4 years and gone to graduate school and gone to medical school, gone to nursing school. We have everything, all the requirements that you would need at any other college or university. Well, we do it with very few faculty, and it would be great to increase our faculty. Right now, we're struggling with the fact that we have transfer students coming back to the college who have gone somewhere else and realized, no, I want to be at Bryn Athyn College. They come back, we have so few faculty that we offer some of our science courses every other year or every 3rd year, and so it becomes difficult for them to finish up their degree if they haven't had what they need. And so what I see happening is, as we grow, getting some more faculty on board so we can offer those courses every year and give the students more of a choice each year to determine their own progress.
So you think the basic structure is there as far
Yes.
as what departments you need?
Yep,
For biology.
for biology. Not for chemistry, not for physics.
Well, I was thinking of all the natural sciences,
Yeah.
physics,
We offer enough to support a biology degree. We do not offer a chemistry degree. We do not offer a physics degree because we don't have enough courses and enough faculty. But we do have enough to support the biology degree. We have inorganic chemistry and organic chemistry and biochemistry. But that's not enough to get a degree in chemistry. You also need physical chemistry and some other things. I mean, eventually it would be great to have all of it.